You've watched Star Wars, haven't you? But what if I told you that behind the lightsabers, the starships and the epic battles lies a hidden blueprint for wealth, a financial masterclass disguised as a space opera? Yes, while you were watching Jedi duel Sith and listening to Yoda whisper truths in the swamp, Star Wars was silently teaching you how to get rich. And you didn't even notice. But now it's time to see with new eyes, because in a galaxy far, far away, there are lessons that hit very close to home. And this time, we're not talking about the Force as some mystical energy. We're talking about mindset, discipline, power, and building empires, not in space, but right here on Earth. You don't need to be Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader to tap into it. You just need to understand the code. Stick with me, because over the next few moments, you're going to uncover why Star Wars is more than cinema. It's a map, a living guide to financial transformation. Whether you're broke, stuck, or just starting out, this saga holds the keys to unlocking your potential, but only if you're willing to listen between the blaster shots. Let's talk discipline. The Jedi are rich, not in galactic credits, but in focus, self-control, and clarity. They master their emotions. They act with purpose. Sound familiar? That's what the greatest investors in the world do. Warren Buffett, the Yoda of Wall Street, once said, "The market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." Jedi wisdom, straight up. But don't be too quick to dismiss the Sith. They understand power. They recognize ambition not as a flaw, but as fuel. They know how to bend the system and seize opportunity. That's not evil, that's strategy. In the real world, the Sith mindset, when channeled, is how entrepreneurs rise. It's not about being heartless, it's about being relentless. And then there's that moment. Luke enters the cave on Dagobah. He faces Darth Vader and sees his own face behind the mask. What's the lesson? Your greatest enemy in the journey to wealth is you. Your doubts, your limiting beliefs, your fear of failure. Before you conquer the world, you have to conquer your inner galaxy. Let's talk leverage. The Empire didn't build the Death Star by trading hours for credits. They built systems, structures. They created power that operated independently of any one person. That's the foundation of real wealth. Businesses, automation, assets that work for you while you sleep. That's not sci-fi. That's financial reality. And remember when Obi-Wan says, "Use the Force, Luke." That's not fantasy, that's faith, intuition, bold action with no guarantee. Every millionaire, every empire builder took that first step into the unknown, acting not on certainty, but on vision. They used the Force long before they saw results, and that's how the impossible becomes inevitable. So let me ask you, are you just watching Star Wars for the lasers and the nostalgia, or are you ready to watch it like a sacred manuscript, encoded with the secrets of wealth, power, and purpose? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Star Wars is not just a story, it's a financial prophecy, and you're the chosen one. Scene shift, black screen, slow fade in of stars. A deep voice begins to narrate, but every chosen one must face a trial. The path to wealth isn't handed down like a royal bloodline. It's earned through fire, loss, and resilience. Think about Luke. He didn't start as a hero. He was just a moisture farmer, broke, frustrated, living in the middle of nowhere. Sound familiar? He had no connections, no wealth, no guidance, until he followed a call. That mysterious tug in the soul, that whisper, "You're made for more." That's where all transformation begins, not with money, but with mindset. With stepping into the unknown. And that, my friend, is where most people fail. They ignore the call, they settle for Tatooine. Cut to Luke standing under the twin suns, music swelling. Here's the thing, every empire begins with a decision. Not luck, not inheritance, a decision to rise, to break the cycle, to train the mind, sharpen the habits, and surround yourself with mentors who see the force within you. Luke had Obi-Wan. You need to find yours. Whether it's a coach, a course, a book, or even this video right now. Now let's talk about fear. Yoda warned, fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. But read between the lines, fear is the real prison. It stops people from investing, from launching, from speaking up, from failing forward. But what did Luke learn? That you don't defeat fear by avoiding it, you defeat it by facing it. Scene: Luke entering the Death Star to confront Vader. Dramatic lighting. And then comes the real test. Resistance. Challenges. Setbacks. Loss. Every hero must descend into darkness before they rise. That's where most quit. But listen, wealth isn't born on easy streets. It's forged in the crucible. The market crashes, the business fails, people doubt you, and still you rise because you've seen your future and you refuse to go back. Let's talk now about vision. Palpatine, love him or hate him, had a 30-year plan. You might not want his morals, but you better study his vision, because empires are not built by accident, they're architected with ruthless clarity. If your goals aren't scary, if your plans don't stretch across systems, you're playing too small. Cut to empire ships emerging from hyperspace, overwhelming in scale, and then execution. The Rebel Alliance didn't win by hoping. They planned, they acted, they took risks, they failed forward. Wealth is no different. You can watch 1,000 videos, read 100 books, but if you don't act, nothing changes. Jedi wisdom dies. Without Jedi action, music fades. Close-up of Luke igniting his lightsaber. So now the question is simple. Will you stay a spectator in someone else's saga? Or will you become the architect of your own empire? The galaxy doesn't care about your past. It responds to your decision. Will you rise? Will you learn the rules of the money game and bend them with strategy, not struggle? Will you use the Force? Final scene, text fades in slowly. The Force is with you, but will you be with it? This is more than a movie, more than a message. This is your awakening. But let me take you deeper. Past the lightsabers, past the battles, into the engine room of the saga, because Star Wars doesn't just teach you about success, it warns you about self-sabotage. Anakin didn't fall because he was weak. He fell because he was impatient, because he wanted results now. Sound familiar? Most people fail with money not because they're dumb, but because they crave instant gratification. They switch strategies too soon. They abandon paths before the harvest. But wealth, like the Force, requires patience, vision, long-term thinking. The dark side seduces with shortcuts. The Jedi endure the journey. Which one are you walking? Even the Jedi Council, wise as they were, made mistakes. They grew comfortable, rigid, arrogant, and that complacency allowed darkness to rise. That's a financial lesson too. Never assume you've arrived. Markets shift, economies crash. You must evolve, adapt, or risk being overtaken by someone who's hungrier than you. Let's pause here. Take a breath, because I want you to realize something. The entire galaxy turned because one person made one choice. That's how powerful your decisions are. One click, one commitment, one investment. One moment of courage can alter your destiny forever. You don't need 1,000 chances. You just need to decide. And what is wealth really, if not freedom? The freedom to choose your missions, to help who you want, to live where you want, to give, build, and expand. The Rebel Alliance didn't fight for more ships. They fought for freedom. And in this world, money is one of the ships that takes you there. But never forget, even Luke had doubts. Even he almost gave up. You will too. That's normal. But do not stay down. The richest people in the world, they've failed more than you've even tried. The only difference is they got up. They learned, they grew, they adapted their course. Your excuses? Vader level, powerful, convincing. They whisper in your ear, it's not the right time, you're too old, too young, too late. But those are just shadows, lies from the cave. And now you know better. You've seen what's possible. You can't go back to the old narrative anymore, because now the galaxy is watching. Your family, your legacy, your future. Are you going to let fear win, or are you going to ignite your saber and move? You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You just need that spark, that first step into your destiny. And here's where it gets real. Nobody's coming to save you. No Obi-Wan, no Yoda. The mentor is you. The hero is you. The master you seek is waiting in the mirror. It's time to stop looking outward and start building inward. The Force is already with you. You've always had it. It's been quietly waiting, buried beneath comfort, excuses, and doubt. But today, right now, something shifted. You felt it, didn't you? That pull in your gut, that voice in your chest, that whisper saying you were born for more. So if this message hit you like a laser blast to the soul, leave a like to charge up this signal in the algorithm. Comment below with what you're building, what empire you'll leave behind. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. A dreamer who's close to giving up. Subscribe so you don't miss the next transmission from this channel. We go deeper every time. And if this was your first video here, you've only scratched the surface. Go back and watch the previous episodes. There are blueprints hidden in everyone, because this isn't just a channel, it's a rebellion, a movement, a place where warriors of the mind come to awaken.